We have been, just crying out Acts 2. Acts 2, and I love Acts 2 because it is a personal promise. And I have my name written in my Bible right there. It is not just a promise for the official leaders, it is a promise for all. And we have prayed that at so many prayer meetings. And so we've been waiting. I mean, we've just been waiting and crying out for renewal, for awakening, for God to break in. But I had a dream, and it was right around May 7th, or maybe a little bit sooner. And I had a dream where the Mike, and this is what he's been doing, that he had just been setting locomotives in order all around the base, and that's what you do when you when you head the base up. But all of a sudden the windows just they flew open, and this wind just came in, and the voice of the Lord said, "You can't stop the wind when it's time for the wind to blow. You can't stop the wind when it's time for the wind to blow." And I got real excited. And then when I started writing the dream out, what I noticed in it is that when the wind blew, well, it just kind of shuffled everything up. Everything was in order, but some of the locomotives some of the ones that were in the front got moved to the back, and some of the ones in the back got moved to the front. When you line up things and a wind comes in, it messes it all up. And I just started prophesying, hold your titles right here. Because everybody had their title and everybody had their position, and just as a growing youth movement, you learn by process of what I believe God does is 1,000 times He gives you a title and 1,000 times He takes it away, because He's so interested in the heart motive that who we are is not our title. It's just what we do sometimes. And I just started prophesying, heads up, that some of you are going to get, it's an invitation, some of you get to go to the back. And it's a joy. You can't just endure it, but you have to find great joy there. And some of those in the back are going to get to go to the front. And it's an invitation to set your heart in great humility. But it was mainly, don't look at your title and say, this is who I am. Because I believe that God will take our position or our title. He will give it, He will take it away, because who I am is a lover. What I do springs out of who I am, but you can't ever take that in me away, that I'm a lover. And so I just started prophesying. I just started saying, when the winds begin to blow, you won't be able to stop it. So just hold it right here in your hands. Hold your title, hold your position right here, because whom God chooses is up to God. And it doesn't mean that He likes someone more, but it's just what He does. And so it's been really fun to watch this, and I had a dream actually about the renewal that I shared right after our One Thing conference. It just being a river, that Ezekiel 47 river that just came from the throne of God. And what I loved about it is I called it the beautiful, blue, rushing, gushing, crystal, sapphire river, and the water felt like oil, but it was water. And if you go on YouTube and you watch a gushing river, a rushing river, it discombobulates everything. It rushes wherever it pleases, and it moves things out of the road, and it switches. I mean, that's exactly what it does. But what I loved about this dream, because God is always about restoration, and it really was for our leadership, because He's just saying, I'm giving you a heads up. And I saw people in this river, but I saw some get out and stand at the tent of Korah. Now we know who Korah was. Korah came against, he got jealous of Moses, and he said, let God judge between you and me. And we know what happened. Korah got 250 men of renown to follow him, and God judged them, and the earth opened up and they died. But the sons of Korah remained, which I love. But anyway, in this dream, there were some men and women, and I didn't see names or faces, but I believe this is even outside the realm of Kansas City, that there are those who are wrestling, you know, why not me? Why can't, and it was like what we were talking about earlier, why can't I have the mic? I mean, there was real wrestling going, why can't renewal break out here? We've prayed too. And in the dream, the Lord was saying, you're wrestling. It's moving my heart, because they were wrestling because they were like going, well, why can't I have the mic? And they were going, no, I bless Wes. No, I bless Alan. And then that thought would come in, but why can't I be on stage? No, I bless. And that wrestle of our emotions, it was like moving the heart of God, and he was going, keep it up. I mean, just keep it up. Just keep it up, because when you bless others, that sets you free from that jealousy and envy that you hold. I saw another group of people that just were plain offended. And the Lord was saying, just start wrestling. Just start wrestling. And in this dream, I was literally taken back to the time of when David wrote. It was like I was transported back in time when David wrote Psalms 19. And I love Psalms 19. And in this dream, he's wrestling with his emotions. And he's wrestling over how his brothers were treating him, because he was the youngest brother. And we know the story of David, that David is always wrestling. And in this, it starts with David looking at how beautiful creation. And it was like he's wrestling with his emotion, and he's just comparing it to how beautiful and big the God of glory is. And then then he begins to talk about the law of the Lord being perfect. And then all of a sudden at the end, he just blurts out, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. And David is saying, let my mouth, everything I say, and let every thought that I think about that nobody else knows, I want that thought that's hidden away to be pleasing to God. And so I just started prophesying that. I just started saying, God loves the wrestle. That wrestle, it's like moving his heart. You can't move God closer to you, because he just is close. But it was pleasing his heart. And to those that were kind of offended at the whole thing, he just said, start the wrestle. Because in that wrestling, that's where you begin to bless people. And in the blessing is where the enemy loses its hold of envy and jealousy. And I love that. And I've watched that take place amongst our leaders. And even being out on the road, I share the same dream, because you see that, because people are jealous in a good way for the presence of God. And I'm like, ask for it. That's what we did. We asked for it. We prayed the apostolic prayers. And if you find yourself, having that envy, then just start wrestling. I mean, just start wrestling and bless and bless and bless. Because it is a river that is without boundaries, that will spread from the north to the south, to the east, to the west, from nation to nation to nation to nation.